Marvel finally clarified the official villain of Agatha all along, breaking the precedent set in the MCU's timeline. The triumphant spin-off from WandaVision dives deeper into the mysterious and mischievous Agatha Harkness, played by Kathryn Hahn. While the MCU has a reputation for leaning on familiar, even formulaic, villain tropes, this series takes a bold step by introducing a layered, unconventional antagonist. This enriches the story of Agatha all along and challenges the MCU's long-standing approach to villains. By bringing complexity and emotional depth to its antagonist, the show signals a new direction for Marvel storytelling. Agatha all along follows on from WandaVision, where Agatha Harkness emerged as a breakout character. The series depicts her attempts to regain her powers, joined by a makeshift coven of thrilling Marvel witches. The series unravels her motivations, conflicts, and connections to the broader MCU. The series prompted intense speculation over who might oppose her in this darker magical tale, with many pointing to Nicholas Scratch or the mysterious teen. However, the actual villain was a bold creative choice that set the show apart from previous Marvel projects. Agatha All Along showrunner confirms the series' villain. Death is the villain in Agatha All Along. In Marvel Studios Assembled, the making of Agatha All Along, showrunner Jack Schaefer confirmed that Aubrey Plaza's death is indeed the series' main antagonist. Talking about this choice, Schaefer noted that Marvel villains are usually oppositional in nature but strive to proffer something more poignant. Schaefer notes, in any MCU property, you have to have a villain, or some kind of counterpoint, and so we talked at length about who would be a foe for Agatha. So this notion of Death herself being the adversary for Agatha felt so right. As Schaefer alluded to, Death is not just a supernatural force in Agatha All Along but also intricately tied to Agatha's past. Their relationship extends beyond their immediate conflict, as the two share a complicated romantic history. This emotional connection adds layers to their rivalry, creating stakes that go beyond life and death. Death's role as an antagonist is not to wreak havoc or destroy the world, but to challenge Agatha on a personal and philosophical level, making her an inescapable inevitability, much as Thanos erroneously considered himself. Why Death isn't a typical MCU villain? Lady Death is a complicated Marvel character. Death in Lilia Calderu's vision in Agatha All Along. Death stands out as an antagonist because she defies the standard evil villain archetype in Marvel. Unlike most MCU foes, who often have destructive or self-serving motives, Death is simply doing her job, maintaining the natural balance of life and mortality. Her conflict with Agatha arises not from malice but from duty, making her a neutral, if formidable, force. This complements Agatha's own villainous status. She's firmly within the evil antagonist category, yet needs someone to counter her. A neutral character allows both to be villainous in their respective ways. Adding a unique twist to Agatha All Along, Death is also Agatha's ex-partner. This romantic history introduces an emotional complexity rarely seen in MCU villains. The personal stakes between them, grudges, lingering affection, and unresolved issues, infuse their dynamic with a refreshing humanity. The MCU has never before framed a villain as an ex-lover, and this innovative choice highlights the potential for richer, more multifaceted storytelling within the franchise. Agatha All Along proves the MCU needs more complex villains. Death is the first MCU villain to break tradition. Agatha Harkness absorbing Death's powers in Agatha All Along. The MCU has long faced criticism for its formulaic villains, particularly in its early phases. Many of these villains were simply antagonistic counterparts to the hero. Iron Man faced Ironmonger, Ant-Man battled Yellow Jacket, while Captain America fought various recipients of the Super Soldier Serum. Scarlet Witch herself was countered by Agatha Harkness in WandaVision. It is a very satisfying notion that the MCU may have finally broken with this tradition. Furthermore, the MCU has also been host to some underdeveloped villains like Malekith in Thor, the Dark World and Ronan in Guardians of the Galaxy, which often leaned on straightforward evil for evil's sake antagonists. However, in recent years, Marvel has made strides toward crafting more layered foes, such as Killmonger, Thanos, and Wunwu. Death is the perfect next step in this process. By introducing Death as a morally neutral yet deeply personal antagonist, Agatha All Along demonstrates that villains don't need to fit traditional molds to create compelling conflict. Death's relationship with Agatha adds depth and emotional stakes, proving that the MCU can tell more nuanced stories. This approach not only enriches the individual project but also broadens the possibilities for future Marvel narratives, showing that a villain's complexity can be just as captivating as their power.